Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I am your host, Mike Byrne, aka magicman, and this is episode 280, closing in on 300. Take two of this damn episode after switching from one service to another due to some nice robotic voices. Hopefully we've gotten rid of them. It is October 25th. You're watching it on the 26th or later as we move forward to Halloween, and we've got buyouts, weird news, and seriously, guys, you couldn't just make that free yet. We're gonna charge. Okay, we're gonna charge for it. Joining me to talk about it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right, and I know I said it before, and you guys are gonna have to act like this is a total surprise. You're gonna have to be great about it, but. For the first time in my life as an adult, I bought a sweatshirt of my own. Like, it wasn't just a gift from someone else. Yeah, and this is what it is. See?
Wow.
Very, very good.
Oh,
you all approve?
At least you picked the right one.
Yes,
you picked the right one.
So.
Definitely old school. I approve, sir. Q, do you approve?
As far as sweatshirts go, yeah. I mean, I've never in my entire adult life bought a sweatshirt.
Oh, good. I wasn't the only one.
How do people own sweatshirts then? Because I think I've bought. I mean, I get them as like swag for different things or gifts and stuff like that. But you're right. I don't think I've bought I bought workout clothes, so I got a couple sweaters there for when I'm going to the gym in the winter. But I think two or three. I have like 90, but I only paid cash dollars for like two, maybe.
I buy hoodies and t-shirts.
There you go.
I don't do the sweatshirt thing. Like, I don't know. Sweatshirts to me are just weird. I don't own any.
All right. Speaking of weird, let's slide over and get started with some weird-ass news. All right, so the big news this week was a purchase, and it kind of like leaked out, almost rumor mill-ish, like an accidental post on a forum that the post wasn't accidental, but information in the post was kind of accidental. Then a follow-up report by Gama Sutra that lent credence to the data and gave some more information. And then basically it was confirmed later that day or like the next day, and then the official pressers went out, which was a little weird because typically we might hear rumors, Jason Q, of a buyout or a purchase happening a month or two ahead of time, and of course the company being bought denies it, says no, it's not the case, and then usually it ends up being the case. This all happened within like the span of 48 hours. It just went down like that. So if you haven't heard, the companies we're talking about, Trion Worlds, makers of Rift and Atlas Reactor and Defiance and Trove and publishers of Arcade, they were purchased by Gamigo. That is all official, and we'll get to some of the particulars with staff and games and our thoughts in the future later. But what I want to get your opinions on first is just the acquisition of Trion Worlds in general, and the company that was the one buying it, Gamigo. Because ironically enough, when we talked about Trion Worlds buying Gazillion's assets a little while back, one of our viewers pointed out, and we put it on the show as one of the comments, the feedback, that they thought they were doing it to pretty themselves up, to gussy themselves up, Q, put a tie and some perfume on, and head out to be courted by potential companies. And damn, Jason, if they weren't right. I mean, they were pretty much spot on there. A few months later, here we are. So, Jason, we'll start with you. Just your initial impressions on, one, the company being sold, and then two, that it was to Gamigo.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been that into Rift Rift for one thing, and most of other Trion games for a while. So it's like I don't really have my finger on the pulse of how well they're doing. Of course, I always have the notion that because of how bad 2050 was and how its relaunch went, you get the notion that they're not doing all that great. You can look at their Steam chart numbers and see it. So the fact that they were sold, maybe not too big of a surprise, but still seems a little bit like they just seemed like they were enough of a veteran company that they were going to stick around for a while and keep doing their thing and so on. And then, yeah, when I saw it was to Gamigo, I was like, really, Gamigo? That's the kind of company. I mean, we looked at their site. They have, Echo of Soul and Aura Kingdom and Last Chaos, stuff like that. Stuff that I think, at least for the three of us, none of us would really be paying attention to if we weren't writing for a website.
True.
Like we all played Rift back in the day, back when we were mostly fans before we were doing professional stuff. It was a game we were kind of interested in. I've been interested in a lot of what else Trion has done. So the fact that they are bought by Gamigo, which just seems like it's kind of lower on the scale in terms of general interest. Obviously, they have a lot of games, have 1 million Facebook followers probably over all of them, so they do something right. It just doesn't seem like they don't seem like quite the same company. Yeah, they're both MMORPG companies, but you just think of them as being kind of in different subgenres of that thing. So it
Yeah.
was a little surprising to see that be the company that made the purchase.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I kind of look at it the same way. Not surprised that Trion Worlds got bought out, but very, very just downright shocked that it was Gamigo. And because to me, at least, Gamigo's always been an older staple of free-to-play, right? They did the Fiesta Online and the Eden Eternals and the Twin Saga and that type of... They generally have that same kind of vibe about the game. Even if the game is different, it's still got that, lighthearted anime, bordering on chibi type presentation. And they've always been that company that also, for me, does... Their success comes through quantity. Like they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of browser-based games and things like that. And so it's just sheer push the market. It did seem odd that this was a purchase for them, at least from my own perspective. And granted, they have picked up more modern things like Echo of Soul, but generally, like you said, that lower tier of MMORPGs. Q, your thoughts? I mean, you're a Trion Worlds fan, like myself, with some particular titles. I mean, you and I have been in and out of Rift for years, and generally it's been falling out of our favor with the whole 9 bajillion currencies anymore. But we've always kind of, maybe even stupidly, Q, said, it's Trion Worlds. They know what they're doing, even when they've shown, in some regards, they don't. We're like, they gotta get it. They got to. They got free-to-play right, then they fucked it up. So they'll fix it. But now, no more. It's going to Gamigo. Surprised?
Surprised that it's going to Gamigo. Actually, I guess I'm surprised by the entire thing, but I wasn't part of the logic being, okay, so they went and got the gazillion assets and stuff. And in my brain, you don't usually make purchases like that to just turn around and sell yourself. Like you're trying to do something. But again, the whole making themselves look better, I guess, thing is kind of a good way on that. As for the, like the rest of them, I was kind of thinking, well, it's Trion, maybe they'll do something, maybe they'll fix it or whatever. I think it's like when that person that is smart, but they keep just doing stupid shit. It's like that. You just hold out hope because they're brilliant human beings, but they just do dumb shit all the time, and that's kind of where we ended up. So,
man, that is really apt, Q. That is a really, really apt comparison. On the other side of this, immediately upon being purchased, a vast portion of Trion Worlds' workforce was laid off. A big, big, big portion. Estimates right now that I'm seeing, and you guys can correct me if you've seen anything updated, was that the staff was at approximately 200 prior to purchase, and now is at approximately 25. So that's a pretty big reduction. Have you guys seen any update or new numbers besides those?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I haven't.
So, and we did see some marquee people going out that if you follow Rift, there were key community managers that have been there a long time that have posted on the forums their goodbyes and don't worry, the game will be fine. So it was this cavalcade of people that were, what are we going to do without Simon's shiny puzzles in Rift, Q? I mean, of course, we got the blanket statement that the games will go on just fine. But when you lay off that big a portion of your staff, Jason, our condolences, obviously, to those that were laid off. And Scott Hartzman, whatever you think about him, seemed to be doing the right thing, trying to signal, amplify, and get in contact with people that needed hirees. So I felt good about that. I was like, way to go, Scott. That was a classy move to be signal amplifying through Twitter and helping some people. Our condolences to them. But when you lay off that many people, I don't think the statement of "don't worry, the games will be fine" can really be taken very seriously.
What I think of is when I played Lord of the Rings online, and for the first 3 or 4 years or so, great, lots of updates, good content, bug fixes, pretty decently along. Then the last year or two I played it, it just got worse. I mean, the game was still there. They still put out content at a reasonable pace, but they seemed like smaller content chunks. There were more bugs. There was more stuff that I didn't like in terms of just how they, ran the gameplay or, how it worked or whatever. And that's kind of the feeling I get here. Now, granted, going from 200 to 25 or whatever, that's even bigger than what a game like Lotro did. Because you feel that, that game didn't bring in as much money in its fifth year as it did in its first, which explains why it went a little downhill. And that I think could be the same thing here. Like, yeah, sure, maybe Rift keeps it going, but you don't get quite as often stuff. It's not going to be quite as good, not going to be quite as polished, not quite as bug fixed. A little sort of between like a fully actively developed game and maintenance mode, somewhere in between those, and maybe I think more along the lines of what you can look forward to for the games that will be sticking around. Like we're going to talk about at least one, maybe not doing that, and maybe there'll be more, but if they do stick around with that kind of staff, I think you're going to have a lot less of the game, even though it'll still be there.
Right. And just on those numbers, there was an update, not much of one, but a source close to the matter, according to Gamasutra, says that only 25 or so employees were given the opportunity to continue, but that was at each studio. And keep in mind, Trion has 2 studios, so that's about 50 overall, which would indicate about 150 people were affected by the layoff. So you're talking about a 75% reduction in your overall workforce. That's huge.
Some of that is going to be redundant stuff like accounting, account management, stuff that maybe Gamigo has people for that, but
yeah, but
it was a good chunk
of
of it's got to be active developers.
There were active developers that we were seeing sign off on Twitter. We were seeing long-time community-facing people signing off on the forums for the last time as anything besides a fan or a player. So it hit the entire gamut of things. Q, here's the weird thing that I think. Let's start segueing into their games briefly, but before we get to individual games, does this put XL Games in a really bizarre position? They developed Arcade, they gave it to Trion to publish. Trion was now bought by Gamigo. XL Games is in a bit of a weird spot there.
Yeah, you would actually think that XL Games would have, at least for their game, kind of been involved in the process.
You would hope.
Well, now, I mean, they've kind of made statements and stuff since, but you would think that during the entire purchase thing, they would have been aware of what was going on and been able to just be like, well, okay, so not include, either decide, hey, yeah, okay, we'll be included in what you're handing over to these people and they can continue to publish it, or nah, we just want to handle it from now on.
Well, they are delaying that one update, so they at least are.
Yeah,
have that much.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And it's not just Arcade, but that's the biggest update. That's their 5.0 update. That update has been delayed because of this purchase. XL Games stepped up today and said, "We're working to get that to you, and don't worry, we're going to try to, assuage things and make sure that there's no issues for our players." But we've also seen that other games have had smaller things delayed, different updates, different events. But then, ironically, Trove didn't seem to be impacted by that. Their update went in on time, Q.
Well, I think, too, if you read the statements that were made I guess they couldn't announce it up front anyway.
Right.
But it almost seems like XL is reacting to what happened instead of it already being a set plan. Like, it almost feels like they were a little bit surprised by it, too.
Oh, absolutely. I got that impression. Obviously the higher-ups knew about this, but I got the impression a lot of people were caught off guard here. Jason, let's talk about games, because it took a few days, but Gamigo did finally release their own press release about this. And this was what the announcement said. I'm going to read you a quote, and we have the article on MMO Bomb if you want to check it out. Publisher and developer of online and console MMO games, well-known games such as Rift, Defiance, and Trove. They're referring to Trion Worlds in this quote. Such as Rift, Defiance, Trove, and Arcade in its portfolio. Trion was acquired via an assignment for the benefit of the creditors process, in which the buyer only buys those assets with which he wishes to continue the business. Now, speaking first, before we get to the numbers don't add up there, they did include ArcAge here in the description of well-known games such as, not to say they were buying that, because we don't have any indication that that's what happened. You know, it isn't Trion Worlds is to sell, but the game is mentioned here as being part of the Trion publisher-developer portfolio.
Right.
That's fine. You see Rift, you see Defiance, and you see Trove. There's something missing from that list, isn't there, Jace? I could have sworn that number is different.
Well, Devillion, obviously.
Right.
No. But what about Atlas Reactor?
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlas Reactor not mentioned there, and especially because they mentioned that sentence. They said via acquired assignment for the benefit of the creditors process, in which the buyer only buys those assets with which he wishes to continue the business.
Yeah, this isn't I'm going to buy your entire company. I'm buying pieces, the ones that I want of your company.
Yeah. So it's really weird that you wouldn't mention Atlas Reactor in that, unless it's, of course, something you don't wish to continue the business of. So,
All right, so I think it's time that we make our predictions then, and this is also going to be our question of the week when we get down to it for you, the viewer. Let's go through the 5 key Trion Worlds titles, and we'll just set aside the fact that they don't technically own ArcAge. We'll forget that for a second. We'll go through the 5 key titles, and you guys tell me, will it be here 6 months from now? Will it be here a year from now? And let's start with the one that's missing, Atlas Reactor. Q, will it be here 6 months from now? Will it be here for a year from now?
What was the last thing that Atlas Reactor actually did?
they put out updates every now and then and stuff. Yeah.
I'm so bad at these, but I'm going to say no for at least a year from now.
No, at least a year from now. Do you think it gets 6 months though? Maybe make it to like February, March.
I mean, with it not being on the list, I don't know that it's going to get any time. So
Right.
It's really hard. Like the other ones, all the other ones, I would give at least.
We'll get to those. We'll get to those in a bit. We're doing one at a time.
This
Build up the drama.
Drama. But yeah, this one, it's really, I don't know, because it's not on the list.
Yep.
So I
think it's funny that you listed ArcAge as being something, to identify Trion Worlds as a leading publisher developer, and then you didn't include something they actually owned in that description. Jason, I think all 3 of us might be on the same boat here then. No and no to
That's
6
a no,
months
yeah.
and 12 months from now for Atlas Reactor.
Absolutely. No and no.
All right. Let's move on then.
I don't know if it makes it to the end of 2018.
We'll take a step up the chain. Defiance 2050. Jason, we'll let you go first. 6 months from now and 12 months from now.
I'll say yes to 6 months from now because they've stayed with it. I mean, they stayed with it like 2 or 3 years since the show ended. So I think they're at least somewhat committed, and they did the revamp and everything. So I think they're committed to it to some degree. But I'm going to give it a no on 12 months. I think between 6 and 12 is when we'll lose it.
Q?
You're kind of right. Trion was dedicated to it to some
Yeah.
Right?
I think I probably give it at least, but it could be one of those things that they're actually getting just to have the assets and everything from it. So it honestly, they could just be doing asset purchases. But I'm not sure how many people are even playing 2050 at this point. So, I don't think a year.
A year. Do you think it makes the 6 month mark though?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yes or no? Gotta be definitive. So we can laugh at you later.
That's not how I work.
She's not going to do it. I'm going to go no to a year from now, but yes, I think it'll still be here 6 months from now. I think Gamigo maybe wants to tinker with the cash shop a little bit and see if they can spice that game into a little bit more revenue. Because I don't think you're going to spice it into a more player base at this point. So can you monetize the ones you have adequately and still keep them? I think they may tinker with that for a couple of months. So 6 months, yes. 12 months, no for that. Let's go to the one that Trion technically doesn't own. So we'll reword the question a little bit. Will ArcAge be publishing or be published by Trion Worlds 6 months from now or a year from now? I'll start first. I'm going to go with, yeah, I don't think ArcAge is going anywhere. I think that's going to stay under the Trion umbrella. And to me, the worst that could possibly happen is XL Games would start self-publishing if need be, if Gamigo wanted out. But I don't see that one as struggling as that game might be with a player base. It's got enough that I think it's going to be fine as far as staying in the portfolio. So I'm going to give it yes to 6 months and yes to 12 months, with the worst possible outcome being XL self-publishes. I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's doing well enough in the West that XL Games would want to keep it here and just try to self-publish. Jason?
I give it a yes and yes, except for the notion that it's, and I don't know exactly how much Trion really exists anymore. Now, is it going to be, could it be published directly by Gamigo? Could it just be added to their portal like everything else? That I think is a solid possibility.
Well, my prediction kind of, yes, that's what I'm saying, is that it's going to be published under the Gamigo umbrella, whether it has the Trion name. It's staying where it is.
Yeah.
Q?
I definitely think it's going to just continue to be around, like you said, either as self-published or the other. But from reading some of the statements, it really sounds like it almost sounds to me like they're working out their own thing right now. So it's really kind of hard to tell what they want to do with that. Like it just sounds like Gamigo and XL haven't gotten together on it at all.
Let's go. So I've been going at kind of like reverse player base size from smallest to largest, but we're going to make a change here for 1 and 2, and I'll explain why I feel we should do it this way in a minute, because it's I'm the host. But no, I have a reason for wanting to do it. Let's go to Trove next, which technically, by all player counts, by far, things like Steam charts and stuff like that, Trove is, player base-wise, the most successful Trion title running right now. Jason, is it here 6 months and 12 months from now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Q?
No question.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. It's simply because it is the most popular as far as player base. I saved Rift for last, which, Trove is obviously beating it, but I want to put a little thought out there on Rift. Rift, as far as being Trion Worlds, is the iconic title in that library, right? When you think of Trion Worlds, you think of Rift. Even if you never played Rift, you think of Rift. You may play Trove and you go, oh, that's the guys that made Rift. I like this, let me check this out, and you play Trove. So is Rift here 6 months from now, 12 months from now? We'll go to Q first, since we're going to get an ambiguous answer.
Right. In the form it's currently in, I think it probably not a year. Like, if they keep it around, if they really, really want to keep it around, I think they're going to have to, they're probably going to start making some serious changes to, not the actual, like game, like not all the things in the game, but especially their shop shit and stuff like that. I think that they're gonna, if they want to keep it, they're gonna have to make changes to keep it.
Jason?
I could see that too, but I definitely think it's going to be around 6 and 12 months from now.
I think it'll be around 6 to 12 months from now. Now, to put a little caveat on that, I think it'll be maintenance mode.
Really?
I mean, they let go of so many of the developers. I just don't see, where does that go in a meaningful development way? Yeah, you want to keep some, right? So you could do your little events, your little ad hoc things, and, keep the fix bugs and stuff like that. Great, but some big names are gone. From Rift in particular. I don't know. I don't know. I agree. They do. I can see them making changes. I see them probably having to make changes because it's been on the decline. Rift Prime kind of gave it an injection of blood and cash, and then now that has, slowly started to whittle away. So they've got to make some change to it. But I just don't see the development team pushing the game forward anymore. Like, let me make it a broad-based question then. If you don't agree with me that maybe it could possibly be maintenance mode in the next year. Do you see another full-blown expansion for Rift ever? Because I don't.
No, but I did just have a thought. What if in the case of Rift, because like you said, it is like the definitive game for that title, what if they eventually just ended up making a new game on the IP?
I'd kind of be upset that it's Gamigo doing it, just given what Gamigo normally puts out. I just wouldn't have a lot of faith that it'd be something I'd be interested in.
Rift Battle Royale.
Rift Chibi Battle Royale. Let's do it. Let's do it. Rift is the hard one for me, Jason. It's the really hard one. I want to see it keep going just because I have affection for the game as a player, but you got rid of a lot of people. I just don't see, any big time development going on, which means at some point, maybe not a year from now, maybe later than that if it's not shut down, it would just be maintenance mode. You're not spending money to actively develop it. Don't agree with me.
No, I don't. I think it could still see expansion. Just might be like 3 years out or so.
You think?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Or instead of full expansions, just like so many other free to play games do now. I mean, Star Trek and Secret World Legends and all of those, when they drop a content update, it lasts you like an hour to 5 hours to do, and you're done.
It's the one I'm most worried about. It's the one that I look at and I go, I don't know. Like all the other ones, I'm like, nope, yes, nope, yes, nope, yes. 12 months from now, that's probably what's going to be the case. Rift is the one that I'm like, I want to say, yeah, it's going to be around. It'll be fine. They're doing development on it. They're changing some things. That's great. But then you got rid of a lot of people. It's the one that's most up in the air for me, which is sad because it's the one I don't want to be most up in the air for me. So we'll get to the question of the week. We're going to give you your chance to chime in on those games. But let's finish up with some news today. We've got some smaller stuff to go through. Like, Epic Games has decided Fortnite Save the World won't be free this year at all. It will go free to play sometime in 2019, to which I don't know about the two of you, but I reply with, what the fuck? Are you seriously not going to make this portion of the game free to play yet? I understand that you want to do UI changes, which you badly needed, and Jason and I talked about when we did first looks for this, and some other things. That's fine, but you could do all that stuff while it's free to play. Does this really, is there really a benefit to having this still be a purchase, Jason?
Well, you say that, you can just do all that after you go free to play. But the thing is, after you go free to play, that's when you're going to get the most people coming in. So I can understand if they would want to wait and make sure they get this right before they open up the floodgates again. Get a lot of people there and seeing, oh, the UI stinks, I'm going to quit playing, and they never come back. So I get them wanting to do that. And I also get that, I don't know how many people are at Epic. If there's like 500 people there, probably like 4 of them working on Save the World. All the rest are
that's fair.
All the rest are working on something that actually makes money. So
all right,
I could see that they're developing. They probably would have wanted to come out, this year, even if, obviously if they didn't have Battle Royale at all, they had to make money with something.
Right.
If it had been just even a moderate success, like a normal kind of game, they still would have wanted to come out. But I think they're pouring so much into Battle Royale that's also had some effect on how long this has taken. So I'm a little surprised by it, but I'm not horribly surprised, shocked, angry, or whatever. Take the time to get it right this time, and it's not like you're going to go under if you don't if this doesn't come out on time. So take your time.
I kind of with him on that. I'm pretty sure it was just kind of a thing to like a stopgap to keep more people from coming in while they get the stuff worked on. I don't think it has anything to do with actually making money. It's just stopping people from coming in while they do things.
Jason, I gotta say, I'm in line with Q. That was a compelling argument, sir. You have swayed me to your way of thinking. Maybe it's not just as stupid as they didn't feel like doing it. You've swayed me, sir. So let's talk about other weird pieces of news. So Jason, we talked last week about you doing a preview of Breach, which we kind of were all, all right, this is looking a little bit interesting. Let's take a peek at it and everything. And yesterday we found out that they kind of signed a deal with Enmos Entertainment, and it's going to be on their launcher. That's the creator of Terra and everything, which he said, okay, that's kind of weird. We didn't know Enmos was publishing this. They're not. What is going on? Because it's not even exclusive to the Enmos launcher, if I'm looking at this correctly.
Right. I got that specifically from them. I wrote back after I got the news of it being in the launcher, and I was like, does this mean they're publishing? Is it exclusive? He said no to both. QC Games still is self-publishing. It's just going to be in their launcher, I guess, just to get more people, to get that big Terra audience interested, apparently, I guess. I guess if you can do it and it's not exclusive, why the heck not? On some level, it's just weird to do it without any other major agreement in place. It'd be like if Call of Duty was suddenly, or if Destiny 2 was suddenly in the Blizzard launcher, something like that. I mean, that would be weird.
Q, your thoughts?
It is kind of strange. The other question, usually with these launchers, right? There's like premium currencies are often tied to the launchers. So are they gonna do separate premium currency system through it's a little weird that I don't understand this at all.
Another way to think of it, maybe now I'm thinking of it, is if a game had its own launcher and was also on Steam, which I guess kind of works the same way. And I assume Steam gets some cut of your premium currency if they buy it in the game. So
yeah, you go through, for some games you go through Steam. You have to put the money on your Steam account, and then you make your in-game purchases through your Steam account.
So it might be the same way. It might be like that then.
And I don't know because I don't play it. Is PUBG on the Enmos launcher for the PC version of the game? Because that may be the audience you're trying to reach, just the sheer number of people if it's on that launcher.
I don't think so, if only because I only ever see people talk about the Steam numbers for it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe somebody plays PUBG on the PC, not on Steam, can let us know. Is it available anywhere besides Steam? I just don't know. I don't follow it. Jason, I'm going to pass this one to you because it is now time. H1Z1, Just Survive, the PvE portion. The game that was originally supposed to be the game is no longer a game. Even after Jace came out and said, hey, maybe we're going to try and figure out some maintenance mode. I don't want this to go away either. But then, hey, we're not ruling that out, but we are ruling out leaving the servers on.
Yeah. So it started as a zombie survival game, which, with you Star Wars Galaxies fans, you can come home again. Whatever. Thanks, John.
So confusing.
Started out as that. It was going to be free to play. Now it's free to play, but we're going to have it in early access as a paid thing. And, a little in development. Let's do this little Battle Royale thing on the side we're going to do with it, too, because that's kind of fun. People are playing like DayZ Battle Royale or whatever. So we'll do that as well. That became the thing that everybody played. Nobody played the survival game, or at least many fewer people did. Then they split into two games. None of them were going to be free to play. Then the Battle Royale game kept going big. It did. The survival game, Just Survive, just kind of did this. Then they made the Battle Royale game free to play. They never made Just Survive free to play. They're going to rename the Battle Royale game. Just Survive, they said, might stick around. Now they're saying it's going to go away. It's dead, Jim.
And John Smedley, of course, chimed in on Twitter with that one, saying this is a shame. It shouldn't have shut down. This is not what should have happened. To which the world said, "Gee, then why'd you leave?"
Because they forced him out after the whole Blizzard Squad thing. That's why he left.
Q, the next two go to you. Hellgate London is rising from the dead for, I don't know, the 40th time on Steam. Now, this isn't, it is news that it is, brand new news that it is going to be available on Steam on the 15th of November. What we don't know is the particulars. Is it just going to be the single-player-esque portion of Hellgate London? Is it even going to be free-to-play or buy-to-play? We don't know. We're covering it because the original Hellgate London was, free-to-play. And so here's the news. Whether we cover it or not from here on, we'll have to wait until November 15th, or at least until some details are revealed. We covered it 2 years ago when I look back on the site, though, when it was on Steam Greenlight, and it was trying to get greenlit there. What are your thoughts, Q? Is it coming back, and what's it gonna be? And are you excited? Because I know you kind of dug that game back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Way back.
I can't even remember when it came out. It feels like it was a decade ago.
It was like 04, 05, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like forever ago. And I really liked it because I'm actually a fan of this style of games. But I was looking at some of the images and stuff, like the screenshots for it, and I'm like, really? You guys didn't even bother to update. Like, you're literally just putting out the same game again.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the whole point. Just get the game up. That was what the green light was. Get the game back up and running.
I think they just kind of pick every so often. They just kind of go, oh yeah, we have this. Let's see if people will play it now. And it's like that. They're not going to, because there's prettier and better games now, because it's still over a decade later. So I don't know. It's on Steam. It'll probably pick up enough people on it to keep a game alive on Steam, because apparently it only takes like 60 people to keep a game alive on Steam now. At least from the numbers Jason was showing me earlier. It doesn't take a lot of people for them to just leave a game there. But I don't think it's going to like turn into anything big or anything like that. It'll just kind of have, maybe a small crowd of people that, are curious about it or whatever, hop in and decide it's fun. There was speculation that it's going to be a single player game, which it kind of was to begin with anyway, to a certain extent. It had the whole thing going on, like, Path of Exile, where you go into the hub, and then when you leave the hub, you're either with a party that you set up, or you're on your own, and generally you're on your own. So it translating to a single player. But at that point, are they gonna try to charge for it?
Yeah.
Like, if it's just a straight single player game, because that would make no sense.
We'll see. Also on Q's list of interesting news, an EVE player really came through and saved the EVE Vegas event when a bunch of stuff didn't look like it was going to make it to the event for CCP on time, stuff they needed for the event due to some shipping concerns and clearing concerns for their products, until an EVE player was like, oh, hey, I'm with Homeland Security. Let me take care of this for you. Q, what the hell happened here?
Right,
this feels like a tremendous waste of taxpayer dollars.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We're busy trying to shut down our borders and all of that stuff. So apparently stuff coming in from Iceland must just be very dangerous, especially when it's tied to a company like CCP. But anyway, they held up a bunch of their, since CCP is located in Iceland, if they do EVE Vegas, they have to bring stuff with them. So they ended up with a whole bunch of items just kind of tied up, waiting for inspection to determine if it was, safe for them to allow in the country or whatever. And it's things like wristbands. So the EVE player, because EVE is a weird game in that it has a lot of military and government people that seem to play it. You can probably, kind of guess why. Yep. But this one player, I might butcher his name. I don't know if it's the E is silent or not. So it's either Commander Aze or Az or something. But anyway, he showed up early and decided, oh, hey, I'll just try to, go ahead and get all my stuff checked in before the thing starts. And when he gets there, they're like, yeah, we can't do anything because they're holding some of our stuff, including the wristbands. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy based on what he said on Reddit and what CCP's rep said. He either works for Homeland Security or he works for FEMA and has ties to Homeland Security.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the amount of calls, one thing said he made, I think CCP said he made a call, and he said he had to make a few calls to get to the right person. But they have got the stuff released with a few hours to spare for them to actually be able to set up. The hilarious part of this, I wrote this, and now he's following me on Twitter. So now I'm being followed by a guy from Homeland Security on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
It's like, great, I can't ever say anything bad again.
Did you say a hot guy?
A guy from Homeland Security. I have no idea what he looks like.
I thought you said I'm being followed by a hot guy who works for Homeland Security.
A guy. I have no idea what he looks like. His avatar,
okay.
like most Eve players, his Twitter avatar is his Eve avatar. So,
Jason, it's a funny story, but damn it, those people had better things to do.
You know, not really. He was at the convention as a person. You know, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny.
Either way.
Yeah, but no. But the thing is, the people he called were not.
Well, yeah, but then
the people got diverted to help out. You know.
Yeah, but then the people who were checking all the Eve stuff didn't have to do that anymore, so it saved that labor.
Oh, all right, so it's a balance. It's a cool story. It's a very cool story. Finally, before we move on, something for me. Ascent Infinite Realms finally released some more information, even though it was just 3 screenshots. The Twitter account said beep, you know, much like Cyberpunks did a long time ago, and 3 screenshots came out. I will have to say, as much as I'm looking forward to checking out what Ascent Infinite Realm or Air has to offer, my confidence in beauty out of Unreal 3 at this point is all but dead after playing certain games, which we will talk about as we slide to the weekly bombs. Mine's an A-bomb for Bless. Shoot me in the face. Just the whole shebang. I played it a little bit after our first look just to keep, you know, is there something here? And I had to let it go. I got to like 22, 23, 24, something like that. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to go play Ion since there's a new update coming out. And now that damn program won't launch. So A-bomb to Ion not launching for me as well. And yeah, I've tried naming the bin file .old. It's still not working. I'm going to uninstall and reinstall, which is great because it only takes 40 hours to do it from their servers. See what Steam has to say. Q, go ahead. Try your bomb.
Steam isn't going to say anything because Ion isn't on Steam.
It's not? Son of a bitch.
Actually,
I thought it was.
I have an A-bomb.
Oh, that's right, wasn't it? And then it got taken off.
Something like that, maybe. But yeah, I checked because I always prefer to have all my games on Steam. And yeah, that's on a different client. Also giving an A-bomb to Ion for their downtime, which was set for 13 hours. Going so long, I finally just gave up and went to bed.
Jason!
You know, I do a search for Ion on Steam, and it doesn't show up, but I searched for it on Steam charts, and it's got players.
It was on Steam. That's what I was saying. It was on Steam and then came off for some reason.
Currently has player. They are currently at 1,352
players. Well, yeah, if you downloaded it back then, you can still access it.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, it was there before, but they stopped being able to download it off there. I don't remember the whole story on why. I do remember that happening though.
Anyway. Also, just to clarify, nobody give me an A-bomb. Hellgate came out in 2007. I looked that up, so there you go.
There you go. So it was a decade ago.
Yeah, it was a decade ago. But I'm going to give an A-bomb to War Thunder and their ongoing battle with the English language. That is one battle they just can't win. They've had it going for years. We talked about it forever. And trying to read through their most recent press release on their latest update. Where was it here? Some of the stuff they had, it was like, here's the first sentence of their update. Navy of the 3 nations has been tested and added to the game. Over German, Soviet, and American vessels join the game.
This sounds legit.
Oh my God, you guys.
Google Translate. But
hire anybody who speaks English to do your stuff.
On the plus side, they still don't have the worst title with war in it.
And Q gets dive bombed. From the viewers, we've got Nisagra chiming in with an A-bomb to me, Mike, for blessed first look, too much level-headedness, and not enough torturing Troy with delusional fanboyism. Yeah, Nisagra, I had to... All right, I'll take it. You know, I had to tread the line of not making myself look stupid when, 3,000 first look viewers know exactly what's going on, but 48,000 non-first or free-to-play cast watchers don't understand what's going on. So I kind of had to tread the line there a little bit. So it's an A-bomb to you. Somebody else told me it was a dub bomb. It was a perfect balance. So that means to me, I did my job right. I went right down the middle there and made nobody happy. Go ahead, Jason.
Elusive X Treasure says, massive A-bomb to the acquisition of Trion. I feel physically ill. Yeah, I know. The games will continue. As what? A one-legged marathoner? Because you cut the other leg off and you fired all the devs. What is Rift going to be exactly without Simon's crazy puzzles or Captain Cursor's wacky sense of humor? Feels like City of Heroes all over again. At least this time I'll get to screenshot my characters. City of Heroes was like 2 months when they announced it was going to be out, so you had plenty of time. But anyway. As for all the people cheering about this, grow the hell up. Rub those two brain cells we have together a little harder, get some friction going, and realize that people losing jobs is a bad thing. And frankly, what you think of Trion means zero anymore.
Ooh.
Dang. Elusive, you're usually so calm and nice and...
I had
a side of you we've never seen before.
I had to include Elusives in here though, because knowing how much she chimes in on Rift in particular, I was like, yeah, we gotta get Elusive's opinion in on this one.
Should have just had her on the cast,
right? Yeah, that's it. There it is.
You want to do the next cast, Elusive? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And if you heard the chime, gang, sorry, but you guys on here wouldn't have, but yeah, that was me queuing up the Ion installer after uninstalling. So we'll get that going. Because it's going to take a while. Hydrex Sky Shadow says, I don't agree with any of you. Hackers should not be banned or sent to jail or to court. They should be burned alive. All of them. Or drowned in acid. Or, if you want to be nice, at least cut some fingers off. Like 20. That'd be a good start. If it's not obvious, I hate hackers. Dub bomb to Maple Story 2, me when the game was released on Steam. What the hell is this? Who is this for? 3-year-olds and scrubs? There must be something wrong with you if you play this disaster. Me after playing for 1 hour. This game is so fun. It's amazing. Don't talk shit about the game. I will fight you, whoever you are. So yeah, I guess it's way better than expected. Sky Shadow, that is the best description. Jason is still playing that game.
Still playing, yeah. Would somebody come to my house and feed my pumpkin?
Go ahead, Jason.
Granted, I'm not a 3-year-old, but I am a scrub, so I kind of do fit the game. Squeezy says 2 to bombs this time. First to Discord, although we give Discord an A-bomb this week for not letting us do the cast there, but whatever. First to Discord for finally adding their store on a bunch of games. I already had Nitro to support them, and now I can buy games on Discord instead of Steam. And the second goes to Yoshi P for keeping his views on the subject of free-to-play. I don't think free-to-play is the best model, but truthfully speaking, there is no best model, as there are pros and cons for every model. Subscription is not a thing for me because I find it hard to keep playing the same game every day or week.
Fair enough. Q.
Harkonis. Breach sounds pretty nice. Sadly, every game with 4v1 that I have enjoyed seems to fail miserably. Fable Legends Evolve. Sigh.
Yeah, kind of the point that Troy made, when you start getting into that asymmetric gameplay, that sometimes it just goes wrong. Sokapex, have you guys checked out New World from Amazon? Seems like a pretty interesting sandbox MMO. I'm hearing some good things from a few friends that play it. Well, your friends violated NDA, and we ain't talking about it here. Go ahead, Jason.
Rusi says, can't wait for the first look of Bless. Well, I hope you liked it. And I really enjoyed Jason's first look of Maple Story 2. Maybe I'll give that game a try after all. Nexon, I want a cut of any profits from this guy. give me my 30%. Just like Steam, give me 30%.
Rue keeps going.
Oh, sorry. Oh, also, A-bomb to my guild leader. You really ruined my joy of the game, sir. Just because you are the guild leader doesn't mean you can yell and boss at people like that. Now I don't even want to log in to see my pretty character.
Oh,
there are 8,000 different guilds in that game.
Some shit went down. Q, go ahead.
If I can. The bird's grabbing the back of my bandana and pulling. Marko Zikovic. Yeah, suing people over cheats is a bit too extreme. Find the flaws, patch it. In the meantime, ban everyone who are using those flaws. Like it has been done since the dawn of online games. Although they've been banning people since the dawn and people still cheat, so maybe suing them might be a little more discouraging.
Oh, you guys are nuts. You're out of your damn minds. The question of the week last week. What is ZeniMax working on, this new IP, and will it be free to play? Some predictions. Guestley says, I don't really have an opinion or a guess about what ZeniMax's new game is, but if it goes as free to play, I would not mind. Not only easy to access, but content for you, for me to listen to. I hope I wrote it right. Guestley, you got it dead on.
You did, but Mike didn't say it right.
I didn't say it right. But I would like to ask you, do you know something about Albion Online? I thought they will go free to play, but I've not heard anything. Most people like me who've waited to try it in free to play probably lost interest in that game. I don't know if I wrote this too late, but regardless, thanks for your work as always. This time not only for the cast, but for the blessed first look. Hey, thanks for the feedback. Albion Online, Guestley, was originally supposed to be free to play and then decided not to be, and we have not, at least to my knowledge, seen any update to the contrary yet.
All right.
Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Direct Sky Shadow says, question of the week. I have to agree with you. It's probably going to be a new Royale game or some generic shooter. But what I hope they're going for would be a fantasy version of Warframe, or at least something on the line of that.
Finish it up, Q. And I left this viewer's bomb in there because it was a short comment, so I didn't feel like breaking this up over both categories. So you got one more bomb, viewers. Go ahead, Q.
Amiko-chan 13, question of the week. I have no idea what ZeniMax is working on, but it's probably a battle royale.
There's so much optimism on the internet.
I have literally zero sympathy for unrepentant cheaters. And the bomb to the new Discord store launching with Minion Masters. It's really fun.
All over there in feedback. Our question of the week this week. What Trion games do you feel won't be here 1 year from now, and why? Would you want any of them to be sold to a different company? If so, who and why? Obviously, you got to tell us which game you want sold, too. I think Elusive X Treasure probably wants Rift sold at this point, but I'd like to see
anybody.
I'd like to see who Elusive would like it to go to, if I'm correct in that assumption. So make sure to put your answers in the comments below while you're there. Leave your dub bomb or a bomb for something good or bad, respectively, in the world of free-to-play gaming, or just something you want to vent about, or give us a question for the panel, and we'll bring it to the show next week. Until then, Q, where can everybody find you?
Hanging out on Twitter at Quintlin. The whole
cats
farm is
are
here.
Yeah, the cats are multiplying. Go ahead, Jason.
She'll be on Twitter if she's not eaten alive by the animals. Find me on Twitter at Winterwood Formal, streams at twitch.tv/JasonWinter, and, whatever.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally on Twitter at magicman, but more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so you get tweeted about all the latest news, giveaways, first looks, free-to-play casts, previews, and more. As always, gang, until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you out on the servers.